All right. Week 3 in the books. Had some fun games. Back as always here, reacting to everything, overreacting, underreacting, making excuses, all that fun stuff. Dom and I back at it again. How we feeling?
Always. I'm feeling fantastic. I don't know about you, man.
You're in a great spot.
I'm in a fantastic spot. So,
I don't know how you feel
we'll
about it
we'll see
long
what
term, but
long term. I feel better this week than I did last week.
all right, fair enough, fair enough.
We'll get
Yeah,
into it. I'm
it
sure we'll
was
talk
nice.
about it a little bit here today.
All
Um,
right.
Especially once we get into our top tens. We'll get into it.
Yeah, this is a weird week for the top tens. I actually put down some honorable mentions this time too, just because like I have a few teams on the outside looking in that I'm
I
I I'm like kind of flirting with where I'm like I don't know. Yeah, it's been a
I'll I'll give you I'll
good
give
year
you
for coaching
one or two.
and a bad year
Yeah.
for coaching. Good year. Coaches I feel like have separated. We'll get into that. I did want to start off here though. This is
All right.
a mild trivia here for you, and it's more so just a ridiculous list. I think more than
Okay.
anything right now. So, as it currently stands in the NFL, there are 9 people tied for the league lead in touchdown receptions right now.
Right now.
I
Okay.
would like you to name those.
All right. First off, has to be Malik Neighbors. Has to be on
Malik
the list.
Neighbors is 1.
The number's four, correct?
Number is 3. That gives away 1.
Three.
But that
Okay.
should be a giveaway for 1.
Well, Jawan Jennings, he had three on Sunday.
Correct? That is 2.
Okay. There's gonna be some weird names on this list. I know that.
There's 2 more functional names, I would say,
Be-
like names that
because I
I
don't.
think you could dive, you don't have to think too hard for. And then after that, it's a weird list.
Is Amonra on there?
No,
Okay, I think he has two then.
I'm not even sure if he has 2.
I know he has one. That's for
I think
sure.
he's just got the 1. I think 1 was,
Really.
might have been a rushing. I'm not sure. But
Godwin, Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin is on that list.
Is that one of your functional names?
That actually wasn't one of my functional names
Okay, I was gonna say because I don't
because
think
I
that's a
feel like that one could
functional
have tripped
name.
you up a little bit.
Debo, really? Okay.
Jawan Jennings is the only Niner on that list.
DK?
Nope.
Okay, he just has the two deep balls then. Oh,
Yes.
Jettas.
Jettas, that was one of the functional names.
I don't know why it took me. Chase?
Who? No.
Jamar? You say
No, no,
no?
no. No.
Oh, oh,
He's got 2 right
oh.
now.
Yeah. Somebody in Buffalo has to have three. Wow, Josh, really spreading the ball around without
Yeah.
Stephon Diggs there.
Yeah, he's being a little slutty with it, passing it around like that.
Good for him, being a little slut. What do we have? Three names? Four names?
I got 4. You got 4. You got Jawan, Jettas, Neighbors,
Shit.
and God. You
I'll
have
tell you.
3. So you have 5 left. 3 in the AFC, 2 NFC.
Two in the NFC, three in the AFC. Well, this is tough. Hey, Devontae.
No.
No, that was dumb. I didn't like that guess. I don't know why I said that. Are any of them running backs?
Nope. It's all
Okay,
receivers.
all receivers, no tight ends. Okay, tight ends are not good this year.
No, tight ends have been
No.
struggling.
I almost said Rashid, but he only has two
Nope.
deep balls.
One of these people only has 9 receptions on the year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I actually just had
almost
to
said a
look up
name.
his first name to make
Wow,
sure I didn't say the wrong name. Yeah.
That's telling.
AFC, I'll give you divisions here. AFC, you got
Okay.
1 AFC North, 1 AFC East, 1 AFC West, and then NFC, you have 1 NFC West and 1 NFC North. Yoshivas?
Andre? Yeah.
Andre, yeah, Yoshivas.
Are you serious? Is that the
Yep.
guy you had to look up the first name for?
No.
When you said
There's
9
another one I
receptions-
had to actually look up his first name.
Ah,
So you got 5 now.
Jesus.
Yeah,
All
you
right,
got
so
Godwin, Jennings,
because I
Jefferson,
was gonna say
Yoshivas, Neighbors.
I couldn't tell you anybody else out of the AFC North to have three if it wasn't Chase. One of these names is still functional. That's hilarious. Is it Nico?
No, younger than Nico. That
Younger
should
than Nico? Like,
that
are
should help.
they not a rookie this year?
A rookie.
Oh, Alec Pierce? No,
No, Alec
no,
Pierce isn't a rookie. What are you talking about?
no. That just bounced in my head real quick. What are the AFC divisions again? I spaced.
So you got the AFC North. Now you got two from each conference. We got AFC East, AFC West, and then NFC West and NFC North.
Okay, I never would have guessed Nico if that was the case. Quentin Johnston.
Yep,
He gets
that's
caught his
six.
third on Sunday.
Yep, he's got three right
AFC
now.
East. Nobody for the Bills. Nobody for the Dolphins. So it's Jets or Pats. Why'd you shake your head?
No, I was
This is
I
the
was like saying no
okay.
to the
Okay.
Bills,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
to the
yeah,
Dolphins. I was like agreeing with
yeah.
you. Like it was me
Yeah,
shaking
yeah.
my head in agreement.
Gotcha. I mean, Garrett Wilson. Is it on the Jets?
On the Jets.
Is it Lazard?
Lazard, yeah.
Yeah. Lazard, whatever his name is.
You
All right.
got two more. One, I'm still amazed that you haven't guessed. And then the one that I had to double check his first name.
All right. So NFC North, you said?
Yeah, you're both of these are in the NFC. One in the NFC West, one in the NFC North.
NFC West.
The NFC West you should get.
Does Marv have three?
Marv has three because he had three in week 2.
Oh, I thought he only had two in that game. Okay.
No, I'm pretty sure he had three, didn't he?
I don't remember.
I'm gonna look that up. I'm pretty sure he had three. Wasn't it like three for? He had like 4 catches for like 130 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yards. Okay.
He was. Oh no! He had one in week 1. He had 4 for 130 and 2 touchdowns last week.
I was gonna say I thought it was 2. I missed the other touchdown. Okay.
So we're down to the one that I had to double check his first name. He has 9 catches for 116 yards
and 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns. His longest catch is 26 yards.
Is it Jalen Neighbor?
Naylor, yeah, Jalen Naylor has 3 touchdowns right now.
Yeah, the second you like said that, it like clicked, and I was like, he's caught a few touchdowns.
Yeah, like I know it's only 3 weeks, but like I feel like that's the weirdest list I've ever fucking seen.
That's a wild list. I love it. Like, I love every part of that list.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple fun facts here for you guys after Asher's crazy statistics that he's bringing up. All right, so first, I got 2 here. I have a third that we'll get into later on in the video. But out of all 32 teams in the NFL, the Dolphins are the only team that hasn't held the lead for a single second in an NFL game this season.
I did see that.
Crazy stat. And they're 1-2, and they might stay that way for a little while here.
It's like the Panthers. Like they haven't held a lead in like 11 straight, or up until this past week, it's been like 10 straight games. They did not have a lead.
Just crazy. And then my second one is that Malik Neighbors is he made history this week. He's caught 23 passes for 271 yards and 3 touchdowns. And that makes him the first player in NFL history with at least 20 receptions and 3 touchdown catches in their first 3 games.
Damn.
So, kind of impressive what he's doing up in New York. And
he might fuck around and piss off a lot of Giants fans and get them. Might be good enough just to have Daniel Jones keep his job.
Well, that was going to get me into my opening segment today. Is Daniel Jones is playing a lot better than we thought he was going to be. I mentioned it last week to you. I don't know if it was on the pod or after we got off. That I have a weird feeling he's gonna start to pick up some pace here, and he's not looking bad. He's just not.
I'm hesitant to get that crazy with it there because I think he's gonna be much closer to week 1 Daniel Jones than what we saw the last 2 weeks. I think part of that is a young defense in Washington in week 2 that he was kind of got a little comfortable with. Um,
Okay.
and last week, the Browns just aren't scaring anybody on offense, and he even though they went down 7-0, literally right off the bat. Uh, Once he kind of got into a rhythm there, even
Yeah.
with that pass rush, he was able to play comfortable and play a little free because it was like they're just not going to move the ball.
Yeah. I mean, and
I
also to be
think
fair
on this short
to
week, I think even just as weird as the Cowboys are right now, it's still kind of that big brother thing in the division because
yeah,
Dak has won 40% of his career games against the Giants and the Commanders, um, which
definitely.
is
I
just an
mean,
insane
definitely
stat.
reasonable. I'm not saying he's going to be a world beater MVP caliber player this season. And the Browns, to be fair, aren't good. They're just not a good team right now.
Yeah,
So we'll see what they do against Cowboys this week. But Cowboys defense also hasn't been good. So
that's very true. Very, very,
I
very
expect
true.
a more competitive game than people may anticipate. I think it'll
Yeah,
be
I'm not sure what the
closer.
line is on that game. I mean, we'll get into that more on Thursday anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, it is just like a little bit of yeah. There's just some weirdness in that game, and
Hmm.
Malik Neighbors is just insane enough
Oh yeah.
to make Daniel Jones look better. And part of that is just I think coaching too. Like Brian Dable knows how
Yeah.
to coach the quarterback position.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
Obviously,
100%.
like up
And I
until
think
this moment, like Josh Allen, his best year was with Brian Dable.
yeah, literally up until this season, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the other point to that is the Giants' offensive line is finally coming together as a cohesive unit, where it
Yes.
has struggled so much these past few years. Andrew Thomas is proving that he is one of the best tackles in the league right now. He's playing out of his mind. So I
Hmm.
think that's amazing. Good for them. I mean, I'm not a Giants fan. I really don't care. But I just
Same.
I just
Yeah.
like to see success where it happens. And
Mm.
especially in a young guy like Malik, seeing him be able to come out and produce immediately with given what is supposed to be one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. So if he can do that with Daniel Jones, imagine if what he could do with like Quinn Ewers or
Carson Beck,
Carson
or
Beck,
go through the
somebody
list
like
of
that.
just
That's the end of the list. I'm gonna be honest. Um,
it, that's fair. I mean, Drew Aller has looked good so far. He had
will
another big game this
I
weekend.
we aren't going to talk on that until we'll get into rookies next year and
Yeah,
draft
after the
stuff.
Super
I'd say
Bowl, we'll get really
about
annoying about
halfway through the
rookies.
season. Yeah, about halfway through the season, I think we'll do an episode just for that. Kind of talk about some of our favorite college players. I have
Yeah, once it
mine.
starts to look like where some of the standings are going to fall and who's going to be drafting where and everything like that,
Yeah.
I think
Once we have a better
it becomes a
idea.
lot more relevant. And seeing, especially
Yep.
this year with all the conference realignment and everybody's actually playing good teams, and you're
Yeah.
not getting Bama playing Sister Mary's School of the Blind, Deaf, and Dumb 4 times a year. Like you're
Yeah.
seeing these guys actually play some NFL competition,
Yeah.
or
And we have a better
NFL
idea.
players.
Yeah. And we start
Yeah,
to have a better idea is like who's going to the draft, who's actually good, and what's holding people back. I mean, 3 weeks
yeah.
into 4 weeks into NCAA, it's it's a lot of niceness still. I mean,
Yeah. Once there's
we'll see.
some real
We'll
fun,
see.
then it'll
That's where I love to
be more
talk. But
important to talk about there. But yeah,
yeah,
anyway, back to the Giants, and even just like this was my thing earlier too. Like that little nugget about coaching is like I feel like last year, once you got about a month into the season, it got very clear it was like the better quarterbacks were winning games.
yeah,
Like it was really coming down to quarterback play. I feel like so far this year, especially with like some of the weirdness, it's like coaching has been huge. And I think that goes
definitely.
for Brian Daboll and what's going on with the Giants right now. Finally, kind of putting something together to make that offensive line, perform better. Daniel Jones is looking a lot better. Malik Neighbors is Malik Neighbors. And it's like like I didn't want to see Dayball get fired, but I also was like, it might be a good thing if he does. He'll get a better job, even if he has to,
Yeah.
go back to being an OC for a year. But like, I don't think he would be waiting long to get another position.
No,
Just
no, I don't think so
like
either.
he's one of those.
He's a
Um,
good coach, just not in a great situation. And if they do
mhm.
well again this year, I think that'll give him the stepping stone to really build something better in New York, which is what they've always wanted.
Right, right, yeah. I mean, they haven't figured out the head coaching spot since Coughlin retired.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
they made some really bad choices there. But aside from them, it's like okay, the Chargers are a completely different team at this point.
yeah,
Like everything is different with them. Even though they lost on Sunday and probably could have lost bigger.
yeah.
Yes, congrats to you. But
We'll get into it. We'll get
it's
into it.
it's very clear. Like they're a different team. Again, everybody got hurt in the second half for that in that game. Like no Rashawn
Yeah,
Slater, no Joe All. Justin Herbert leaves that game. Everything kind
Joey
of went to
Bosa was
shit for
hurt in
him
the
there.
first half. Yeah, it
Yeah, I
wasn't
mean that
ideal
was
for them in that game.
yeah. I mean, not
I
taking anything away from the Steelers because Justin
no,
Fields
no,
looked
and I
amazing,
was
but
yeah.
you
The
can
only
jump
thing I'd
right
get
to
into
them in
that
that game.
Yeah, the only thing I'd get into that with the Steelers is that that defense was faster than their offense by a
Yeah,
mile. And it looked like the Chargers, especially in the second half, were struggling to keep up. And with what you
yeah,
were going to go into is it comes down to coaching. The Steelers were
yeah.
throwing out every different scheme possible at the Chargers, and they couldn't figure it out. They
Mhm.
had -5 yards of offense in the second half.
Again, I'm not taking like insane,
No, 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 I'm
insane.
not saying that at all.
Not
Yeah.
going to take as much stock in that because Joe All and Slater did come out of that game, and then so did Herbert. So then it was just
Yeah.
like they were kind of sitting ducks, just dead in the water there. But I will say too, even just on the flip side of that, props to Harbaugh for sticking to his guns and his philosophy and taking Joe Alt because up until um, Joe Alt came out of that game, zero pressures allowed by Joe Alt when facing TJ Watt.
Yeah, I mean it was a
That's
good
insane.
battle. Like, I was
I
watching
like
it
the
the whole
dude is
game.
legit.
TJ, yeah, TJ was getting him on a few, but he never got past him really.
Yeah, never
And
didn't give up a
and when
pressure.
he did get past him, Herbert was off to the other side already because he felt
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, and some
So
of it too is like
that's yeah, Herbert just has good pocket awareness as well.
yeah, yeah. There's part of that too, but also like I mean, some of the stuff where like even when Joel was like kind of getting beat, it was it was like week one when he was going up against Max Crosby. It was like he was getting him so far away from the pocket
Yeah,
that when he was
yeah,
getting around him, it's like he's got no chance to get there by the time the ball's uh, out of Herbert's hands.
yeah, for sure.
But aside from that, like okay, so like there's coaching on the Chargers side. On the Steelers side, Justin Fields looked amazing on Sunday.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
he's stepping
Props
into
to
it,
Artie
man.
Smith for figuring that out. I mean, you like we talked about the um, his passing chart on that. It's spread
It's
out,
beautiful. It's
but
it's it's
nothing
the
deep
beau-
downfield.
so
It was
beautiful.
all run after catch, get guys open, quick reads. Uh, Looked great there. I mean, obviously the Vikings. That whole
Um,
story is a coaching story. It's Kevin O'Connell, maybe the best of the Shanahan disciples. I think at this point,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I think he's past Mike McDaniel in my eyes
No,
already.
I think that I think that's fair. Mike McDaniel has definitely struggled without Tua, and every
Yeah,
time
and
Tua's hurt, it's
O'Connell
never
has
pretty
had
there.
success with everybody. Kirk
Yeah,
Cousins, good. That's fine. He goes down. Josh Dobbs on a short week brings him in off the like 3 days before they have to play. Josh Dobbs throws for 300 yards. Like, and then after that too, hell, who did he even have? Was it Bethard last year after, or was it Mullins?
yeah.
It was one of the two. It was one of
It
the
was
other
Mullins.
like.
It's definitely not Beathard, but it was
It was one of the
Mullins.
two.
It
It was
was
one of the two
Mullins.
guys that showed up for San Francisco for a little bit
Yeah,
there when
it was
Garoppolo was getting
Mullins.
hurt. But like it's everywhere. Packers with Malik Willis right now. It's like you're seeing a lot of these like the
Yeah,
legit coaches in the
coaching
league
went out. Yeah,
are really separating from everything else. Like meanwhile, the Bears can't get their shit together because Eberflus doesn't know what he's doing on the offensive end.
yeah.
Um, oh hell! Now I just blanked on their OC's name. So he was in
From
Seattle.
Yeah. It was there. It was there and gone.
Yeah,
Waldron, Shane Waldron.
thank you. I just
You're
completely.
welcome.
I was going
No,
Andy Warhol.
my brain brings it out.
I was thinking Andy Warhol. I was like, it's not that, but it's close to that somewhere
No,
there.
no, it's definitely not that. Yeah.
But yeah, like you're kind of seeing how like Caleb can't really like they're not getting anything going for him. They can't figure out the O line. The O line is horrible right now. That picture from
Yeah, it
the
was
fourth and goal
crazy.
play on the half-yard line,
They're all
where
laying on the ground.
immediately after the ball is snapped, there's four offensive linemen laying
Yeah.
on the ground.
Yeah,
Like
it was
it's
just pure comedy at that point. Like, what are we doing here?
ridiculous. Like again, this is why I'm not crushing Caleb just yet because the dude is just getting bum
I'm
rushed
not. No,
every time he snaps the ball.
I can't crush him yet. Like I can crush Trevor Lawrence, so it's fine.
All right. Well, hell, you brought it up. Let's just get into it. Okay. But do you want to take the lead on this one and bury me first?
Well, I mean, if you wanna hunt me too,
Go
we can
ahead,
go
and
back
then
to
I will make
Thursday.
my I'll make my defense.
We can just look at it. He looks lost out there. He looks like a young puppy dog staring into headlights, can't
Mm-hmm.
move. I saw a clip of him holding the ball for 2 seconds, looking down the field, and instantly spins out. He looks like Kenny Pickett did last year.
Hmm.
He doesn't make the reads. He instantly tries to get out of the pocket and move around outside of the pocket to try and make a play instead of finishing the reads. And then when he rolls out, he immediately gets demolished and sacked.
Hmm.
He looks bad. He doesn't look good, and I don't know. You're gonna chalk it up to coaching. I know you are, but at the end of the day, it's he can't put points on the board. They were in the red zone, I think, two or three times, and they just didn't get it done. And it's, as much as you want to say, well, that was play scheme, that was the offense not fully being cohesive. It's also the quarterback not making the play. It's him not getting the ball to where it needs to go. I mean that you just paid that man $250 million, and he doesn't even know how to audible into the right call at this point. Now I get it. You played the juggernaut of the Buffalo Bills, who has a makeshift offense and defense, and they just look unstoppable. I get it, but that doesn't excuse the prior 2 weeks
Yeah. Um.
or what you're about to see in the upcoming weeks. It's not
Oh,
going
for
to get
sure.
easier.
Yeah. I mean, where I stand with Trevor Lawrence, separate from everything right now, is he has to be better. Like he really, really does. Like the throw to BTJ last night, and I texted you immediately. I was just like, "No, Trevor, like
It was
that was
bad.
ugly." And I mean, that's he's broken right now.
I think I
He's
turned the
seeing
game
ghosts.
off
He's
officially
not
after
comfortable.
that.
Like you can tell, like you just said, like he's not comfortable with anything going on right now. He's lost. He's like I don't know what it is with him. Like
Yeah.
there is a mental block somewhere with him um, where he's just broken. And I don't, and this is where it gets into the coaching thing there. I don't think Doug Peterson has the capabilities to pull it all together for him and like give him a drive to start a game that's really spelled out and
Yeah.
everything like that. I think I've put too much value into Doug Peterson as a head coach because he did win a Super Bowl with Nick Foles. I think that was more of a Frank Reich story. Frank Reich, bad head coach, probably still a really good offensive coordinator, kind of in that Cliff Kingsbury kind of
Yeah.
realm of like good offensive coordinator, not really what you need as a head coach. And I think that's kind of where Doug Peterson is kind of taking the fall for it because
Hmm.
he's only ever won double digit games as a head coach once, and that was the Super Bowl season. Everything outside of that, he's a 9-win coach. Um, the other part of that is you're 0-2. You do not want to fall to 0-3. That team came out across like the entire team came out flat
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo did anything they wanted in that game from the jump. Like there was no life. They looked lethargic. They looked like they didn't want to be there. They didn't look like they give a shit. Um, that's where I go to coaching a little bit more on that too. Like if I was doing a blame pie on the Jags right now, I think it's 70% of it is on Doug Peterson right now, and 30% of it is on Trevor Lawrence. Because, like, dude, you're number one pick. You not only were you number one pick, you're a highly touted prospect, like best prospect since Andrew Luck. And Andrew Luck walked into a dumpster fire and went 12-5 off the bat. No O line, like just came to the league
Yeah,
firing.
poor dog.
So I do agree. Trevor Lawrence has to be better. Has to be. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think there's a big part of it where, like, I think he's just broken right now, and he's in a spot where he doesn't have a support system that is going to get him back on track. Like, go through the list. Like, if Sam Darnold gets weird next week, Kevin O'Connell, like, it's been clear, like, he's going to set something up. Like, he's making everything so easy for Sam Darnold right now. Mahomes has Andy Reid. Like, when Mahomes gets squirrely, like, especially when he was younger, like, would gonna kind of like rein everything back in and get him back on track. Like,
Yeah.
Lawrence doesn't have that. The talent is there. Like, all the traits are there. He's got a fucking great arm. He throws a great ball. He's what, 6'5", 240 or whatever it is.
6'5", 6'6", yeah. He's a
Yeah,
big
like,
dude.
he's perfect body for that position. His only thing is just the fumbles, and I don't know if you're going to be able to fix that. And it sucks that he's in Jacksonville because it's always wet. So, like, playing home games, he's going to drop the ball at some point. I think you're just going to live with that, or like have to deal with that. But
Yeah.
I there's just so much of it that is like, there's just so much weirdness around all of it, and it might just be the Jags cloud. Like, we talked before about the Bears, the Jets, and now the Jags too, or Browns even. It's like, you just have, like, there's like 5 franchises in this league that no matter what, even if they try to do all the right things, everything's just gonna, like, turn into shit. Like the Browns. Everything was going well. Let's trade for Deshaun Watson. Like, there's
Yeah.
just poorly run franchises that just have these clouds. I mean, the Chargers were under that cloud forever. Rivers could never win a big game. Herbert couldn't win a big game. Like,
I mean, they're
it's
still under that cloud.
Chargers. Yeah, now with the injuries, it's like, oh, we're gonna do a new
Oh,
fucking thing
not
where
not
the
even
football
that. I
gods just
mean,
hate them.
until I see like the actual progression.
I
They're,
agree.
they're
Yeah, no,
getting
I know what
they're
you mean.
getting
Yeah,
better. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I get what you're saying.
It's
Yeah,
like it's like the same with the Lions. Like, if they would have hit that Super Bowl last year, they're out of it. They're good.
right.
They're great. But to lose the way they did last year, you're still in it.
Yeah, yeah.
On
No, I know
paper,
what you
your
mean. I
team
know what
is
you mean. This is
fantastic,
like,
but like I
I
need
just
it.
think, like, even with that, it's like, your ceiling is different. It's
Yeah.
like Lions, even with that roster, everything looks great. They have a culture, they have an identity. They're, blah blah blah. It still feels like NFC Championship is still kind of their ceiling, just
Yeah.
because
At this moment,
everything. And then you have the Dan Campbell questions, but it's also just like, getting to the NFC Championship game. It's kind of your Super Bowl. Sorry about it, Detroit. I'm rooting for
yeah,
you. There's
I
nothing
am.
outside of
Uh,
a Ravens Super Bowl win. I don't know if there's anything I'd rather see more
Dude,
than.
seeing Detroit and Buffalo in a Super Bowl would make me so happy.
I feel like one of them can't be, because then I want both teams to win.
But
Honestly,
exactly,
yeah,
it's
but I
the
mean, there's
first
no
Super Bowl in
downside. But then I'm
history
still
where
going to
I'm
be
rooting for
like,
both teams.
yeah.
But it's exciting. It would be kind of
All right, here's my thing though. If you
an
had those two
alleviation.
teams in the Super Bowl, who would you prefer? Who would you be happier seeing win?
Am I rooting for players or a fan base?
Take into account everything: players, fan base, coaches,
Oh,
blah blah blah, history, everything. I know, yeah, yeah. That's a loaded question because I know where I stand on it, and there's one X factor in it.
I think I'd root for Detroit for Jared Goff, and that's it.
That's fair. I mean, I would be really happy to see him get one. The thing that tips me over the edge to Detroit. Oh, I want to see Dan Campbell on that podium.
That's completely reasonable.
That
You're gonna get some
will
crazy
be
quotes.
electric. Would be
See,
electric to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all for Jared Goff to actually finally get one
Oh
because
yeah. I
he
mean,
deserves it
nothing.
so much.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that man has faced so much shit in his career for no reason.
Yeah.
He was not the issue in LA. He simply wasn't. McVay just wanted somebody with a bigger arm. That's it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and I think Detroit winning a Super Bowl with Goff, it just feels right with that
It
trade.
does.
It
It
does.
does.
Like, I mean, happy for
It's like the
Stafford that he finally
perfect
got that one.
balance.
Yeah, so it's like you didn't get it for each other, like, where you started, but like you got him. It would work for everybody, and like it's a
Yeah,
very, very happy ending to that trade.
I think so.
Yeah. Um, let's do. Well, we talked about you and the Steelers there. Good for you.
Yeah,
All right, let me have my little 5 minute rant on the Ravens here. A
good.
little fluky. I had
Yeah.
some time to process afterwards after this game because in the moment, like what, like I watched the first half and then I went back to red zone because I was like, okay, feel good. And then I'm watching red zone and then they start cutting to it and it starts to look weird. And I was actually on the phone with my dad at this point, and I was getting increasingly frustrated. And he was like, "What the hell are you talking about? It's 28-6." I was like, "No, they just scored. It's 28-25 now." And he was like, "Shut the hell up." And I was like, "I'm not lying to you right now." And that's when I went back to that game. I hit on a nice little parlay all the 4 o'clock games. Hit on all that. Just threw like $5 on it. I actually cashed out on the when the Ravens had the ball to ice that game because I got nervous. And like the payout was like 128 and I cashed it out. It was like 106. I was like, if something weird happens here, I'm going to cover my bases and I'll just take the W. I can live with the $22 difference there. It's not like I
Yeah.
was putting, $400 on this. This was just an easy one to make me feel good. But yeah, I was legitimately concerned. And Lamar made a hell of a play there. Read that jet sweep late. I don't know if you remember watching that. That 2nd and 9, they ran a jet sweep to Flowers, just to kind of keep the clock moving, and Lamar pulled it real late and busted up through, got fought for a first down there, and that's what ended up icing the game. So in the moment, I was very frustrated. I was like, "Here we go again. We're doing this because they keep doing the whole. We build up a lead, play bend don't break defense, and then nobody ramps back up. It's like bend don't break, but then in the red zone, they still just bend.
Yeah.
And then it's like the intensity never comes back. Um, After that, though, watching the post game when they were talking to Lamar immediately afterwards, I feel much better about this team because it seemed pretty clear Lamar didn't sound too happy with
No,
that win. He was
Lamar.
like, "We got the
Well,
win." He made a little joke about thought some people would be on suicide watch. That's me. If they lost, but it was pretty clear after the game he wasn't too happy with how they finished that game,
hmm
and even on the flight, I mean Marlon Humphrey, I don't know if he's all on the
I was
clip
gonna
there
say, I don't know if
on
you
the
saw
flight,
that.
and he was
Yeah.
like, "You shouldn't even be on live right now," and like Lamar has fun. The first MVP year, he was having a lot of fun. He was having a lot of fun last year, but he's gotten. I don't want to say he's matured because I don't think that's the right thing. Like I think he's always been a mature person.
I
I
think
think
he's more
he's just
focused.
I think he's just more frustrated with a lot of the talk surrounding him because he obviously hears it, like all of them do. And I think I don't want to say more focused because like I think that you know
I,
the dude's got 2 MVPs. I think
I
he's a
think he's
little
more
bit he's
focused.
more willing to hold everybody else accountable at this point. I think
Yeah,
that's a better way to put it.
he's okay. If that's the case, then he's becoming more of that leadership you want in
Yes.
your team. I was saying he's more focused on getting to a place that's not just an MVP, that's
Yes.
to the
He's
Super Bowl, to doing something, to like you said, kind of giving a bigger name than just two-time MVP Lamar Jackson.
and
He
wildly
wants,
talented, most dynamic
yeah,
quarterback. You go through
he
all
wants
that. And
Super
he said
Bowl
that day one
winner.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I mean by more focused. Like obviously he's focused on playing the best football he can, but he
Right.
wants to be focused on the task at hand, which is to get beyond what they've done. Which is good. I see that in him and that is a very positive. Hopefully the team follows suit and you guys make it more competitive, I want to see you in. I think we play week 12. I want to see
Yeah.
that week 12 matchup as a much more competitive game than what it might be tomorrow.
Right. Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Like I don't know. I feel like, especially when you see that you're going to Buffalo next week for Sunday night. Or no,
Oh,
no, no.
I
Buffalo
didn't
comes
even.
to you. No, just kidding. We got Buffalo at home next week on Sunday Night
That's
Football.
not going to be fun.
Um, I think that was a little bit of look ahead too. It's just like there's no
Yeah,
reason because hell, after the third quarter, they were averaging over 9 yards a play.
that's crazy.
Derrick Henry was averaging like 7.5, almost 8 yards a rush, and
Yeah,
that
I mean
a
that
game
was his
like
best
throughout the
game.
whole game. It was insane. They
Yeah, that
just
was his
said
best game in two
they
years.
saw early that Derrick Henry they had no answer for him, and I
Yeah.
think that's the most usage you're going to see out of him
Oh, year.
probably
Yeah.
for all year. But yeah, then they kind of just got soft in that fourth quarter there and let them get back. I mean the even with letting them get back in, like it probably still shouldn't have been 25, 28-25 or what was that with the
No.
final? Yeah, it was a 3 point game final, but like the the onside kick went
Yeah.
took a weird hop on Zay Flowers and just like went right through his arms. Like even that was a little fluky. Um,
Yeah.
but it was still just, stressful in the moment because it's like, all right, here we go again. At least for me. Other than that, I think the only other one like major thing I wanted to point out in terms of actual games this week,
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels looks good.
He looks so good, dude.
He looks
I
very
mean,
good.
I've been saying that. I tempered my expectations for Jaden Daniels when he got drafted because I was worried. Dan Quinn, defensive minded coach. I love Dan Quinn, but
Mm-hmm.
defensive minded coach. So it was a bit of a worry. I like Cliff. I liked what he did with Kyler to start, but I know there was a lot of tension there. So I was concerned. But after week one and what I saw, I was a little less concerned. And then after last week, I was even a little less concerned. And then after seeing what he did last night, it's full speed ahead. The
Yeah.
man can play.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about it too in like the season preview thing. I weirdly like what I said about with all the rookies, like they all kind of fell into the right spots
Yeah.
for the most part there, and this just worked. It made too much sense.
Yeah.
Everything's new ownership, new coach, Cliff Kingsbury. Like everything just kind of felt like it was just a fresh start for everybody, and it was positive vibes. Everybody's just like rooting for each other, kind of thing. I mean, he's been the most consistent by far of
I
the
mean,
of the three
yeah,
rookie QBs that are playing.
yeah. He was my pick for rookie of the year. I just want to
Yeah,
remind you that.
I give you a lot of credit for calling that one there. I think I put too much stock into the Bears O line because that has been a mess.
Yeah.
The defenses look great, and I mean I did say the defense was good. Good for them. At least
Can't
Eberflus
deny
has that
that.
going
Yeah.
for him. But Shane Waldron has got to fix something with that offensive line because they can't
He's
do
just old.
anything.
He's old. He has a very specific way he wants to play. That's why he was in Seattle for as long. They didn't change anything. That is why Seattle moved on from their
Yeah.
entire coaching staff. But fun little nugget here about the Commanders.
Yes.
They're the first team in Super Bowl era to have two straight games with zero turnovers and zero punts.
And the
That's
side of that I saw, we both saw the same thing, but in different wording. So
okay.
yeah, two
Yeah,
straight games, no punts. Um, and yeah, what is it? No punts and scoring on every drive, excluding Neal's, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Excluding
here's the
Niels.
other
Yeah,
one. Um, Jaden Daniels has had two career NFL games where his team scored on every drive, excluding kneel downs. That's three total starts for him. So consecutive games that's happened. Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, and Patrick Mahomes combined
of two.
have done that twice
Yeah,
in their
I saw
starts.
that. Yeah, I saw
Yeah,
that as well, which is
yeah,
just it's insane.
wild. I mean,
Yeah,
maybe a little
take
fluky,
it for
but
what it
still,
is.
it's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah.
Like
It's just
he's
a
being
wild
so
stat.
productive right now, and he looks comfortable. I still hesitate on him a little bit long term. Like I think all of the Lamar comps are there. The way he throws the deep ball, uh,
Yeah.
the way he moves, he does look like Lamar out there. A little bit
I
slimmer, but
think he's a
like
little
again, like
bit
young
more.
Lamar. He is a little
Yeah, I think he's a
wiry.
little bit more of a mature Lamar than Lamar was
Well,
coming
he had
in.
more starts. That's part of it too. It's like
Yeah,
he's going to turn
yeah,
24 here soon. Like Lamar was
yeah.
21 when
Like
he got
that.
drafted.
Yeah, that's what I mean more so is that he has had a little bit more time to develop his game, so that means he's a little less all over the place coming in.
Yeah,
So
I mean, like
I
Lamar
think that
obviously
benefits him
has
a lot.
developed as a passer, and I don't really
Yeah,
have the
of course.
concerns there,
Since
other than the
then,
fact that he just misses layups from time to time, and it pisses me off sometimes. But I still just hesitate on Jaden Daniels just durability wise because everything is so similar with him and Lamar, but Lamar is so good at not taking shots. He doesn't get
yeah.
popped. Even when he's taking hits, he's already going down by the time he's got three guys on him. So it's like he's already in a position where it's not like he's trying to cut back and gets hit. He's not trying to run
Hmm.
through people. He tries to run around you. And if he knows he doesn't have the angle, he gets down or he like reaches but is like kind of diving and kind of going down with it there. Jaden Daniels just takes shots. And he is smaller than Lamar, just thinner.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that concerns me about him. I think he should watch a little bit more of Lamar in that sense and just like learn when's the time to try to fight for that extra yard. Can I do it in a way that's going to be functional for me to not get my head taken off here, and when to just kind of like just get down. Those are the
Yeah.
only things. He did it a couple times. He's better about it when he's on like closer to the sidelines. I have noticed, like
Hmm.
watching yesterday, there were a few times where he kind of got out, was running. When he's close to the sidelines, he's good with just taking off and running out of bounds. But like in the middle of the field, he fights a little bit too hard at times, and that stresses me out with him.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. Yeah, yeah. And I
Um,
think he'll get better with that as the season goes, as they work out
yeah,
some of the smaller kinks within the offense. But as a
right.
whole, it looks good. And I
And
think,
happy for Bo Nix, just rounding out the rookies there. Like finally isn't playing the Seahawks or the Steelers, and shocker, he looked really fucking good.
yeah, he looked a lot better than I anticipated him looking. But again, I kind of realized that he did play two of the three best defenses in his first two games, so
Right, and he
can't
finally
be a
got a
fun
chance to
start.
breathe, and even in those first two, it's like you saw what they were trying to do with him. It's just like two defenses that are really fast and going to be breathing down your neck really, really
All
quickly.
game long. Yeah,
And yeah, exactly. So it was brutal start of the schedule at least for him there. I think especially after yesterday,
yeah,
and he moves really freaking well too. A lot better than I
yeah,
thought he could. But again,
yeah. I
too, like
mean,
he's
I
one of
hope
those
so
guys
as a
is he's got the most
26-year-old.
college starts in NFL or most starts in college history. Like
Yeah,
he's a
you
very
gotta.
mature player. I think he's like his ceiling is mostly that,
Yeah,
but that's a functional quarterback.
yeah. He's also not 26. Just a joke. I think he's 24,
Who? Bo Nix?
25. Bo, yeah.
He's older than Jaden, and Jaden's going to be
Oh
24 here
yeah.
soon. Hold on, let me look at that. Bo Nix is.
Is
Oh
he
no, he is 24.
25? Okay. I know
24.
he
He turns
turns
25 in
25 this season.
February. Yeah,
I think he's
even
like
so.
a week
Well, he's
older
got
than
like what?
Penix
I
or
mean, how many
something.
starts did he have? He had like 61 starts in college or something like that, or 60 something.
Just a lot.
It's
Just
just
a
an
lot. He
insane
had
amount.
I mean, he played 3 seasons at Ole Miss and then 3 seasons
No, Auburn.
Auburn. That's right, it was Auburn.
Yeah, because he was supposed to like bring
Sorry, I'm
Auburn back, and then
typing.
looked horrible.
He's what, 3 months older than Penix. Penix is born in May.
Yeah, I can't see his. Whatever. Wait, here we go. College.
Yeah,
College.
you're right. It was
Yeah,
Auburn.
61 starts.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's
That's
crazy.
actually
In 5 years. Yeah, no, he looked good. Everything. Yeah, I and again, Caleb looked better again. It's just part of that is I think situation at this point, but I stand by. I think these rookie QBs are going to end up pretty well. All right,
Yeah,
let's get into our top tens here.
yeah. You want to do what we did last week? 10 out of 1?
Yeah, we'll start at 10. So
Okay.
I'll just, I did actually write down honorable mentions here because I'm like hesitant on them for different reasons. Um,
Okay.
so I got the Niners, Eagles, and Jets all outside of my top 10.
Wow.
Niners, more so an injury thing. I will give Brock Purdy his flowers on this one. I have been very critical of him. I have not bought into the Brock Purdy stuff,
Okay.
but
That's fair.
um, he looked really good. He played really, really well on Sunday. Despite the
Okay.
loss, I think that loss is a little bit more on Shanahan than it is Brock Purdy because, I mean, he did what he could, honestly. Eagles, I'm still not sure what I get with Nick Sirianni. And now Devontae Smith out. Don't know how long that's going to be. I think it's just a tough go with no A.J. Brown, no Devontae Smith. You saw the pick that
Yeah, it was bad. It was
Jalen
a bad
threw
bad.
is like that's a throw that it's a route that he's expecting AJ Brown to run where he just kind of sits there. Devontae is trying to get through because he's not as big of a body. It's just like it's a little weirdness there. And the Jets, Aaron Rodgers looked good on Thursday. I don't know how much stock to take in it. They're a really good third
Yeah.
down team. I just am still kind of like I don't think they're a top 10 team. I
Okay.
think maybe in a
That's
month I'll
fair.
feel differently one way or the
That's
other, but
fair.
like they're just kind of in that middle cusp, you know, team for me.
Yeah. I got 3 honorable mentions as well. One is the same as yours, the Niners. I think it's just injuries. I can't put them in the top 10. They're
Yeah.
a well-coached team that have a lot of talent. But like that game on Sunday, you got to win that game. There's no doubt in my mind. I don't blame Purdy for losing that game. I don't. That defense fell apart there late in the second half.
Yeah.
But at the end of the
It
day, you
also
still got
just
to win
seems
that game.
it's like a classic Kyle Shanahan game where it's like, gotta have it, you're in position, and then, everything goes to
I don't
shit.
know.
I mean, just
Yeah,
go back to Atlanta Super Bowl.
yeah. The other two, the other 2 teams that I have are the Chargers. Similar to the Niners, you lost a lot of major people on Sunday, and I want to see what you look like without those guys. If you look like you did in the last 5 minutes of that game, that's terrifying. But if you look good, I'll move you back up. The other team I have is the Ravens.
Hmm.
Offense is great. I want to see them play more cohesive. I said it last week. I'll say it again. I won't have you in my top 10 until you start stringing some games along, and it's gonna be tough with these next 2 games coming up for you guys.
So it sounds
But
like
that's
you have two of my honorable mentions in your top 10, and I have
I
two of
do.
your honorable mentions in my top 10.
Yeah, but it's not like they're high in my top 10, and I'm sure
No,
mine aren't
I
high in
mean,
yours.
well, I'll just rattle off my 10 and 9 real quick. 10, I have the Chargers. 9, I have the Ravens.
Oh, fair enough. Hey, what happened to the
Are
Ravens
you
only
in the
being
same
at
spot
10?
as me right now
No, no,
with
no,
the Eagles and
no.
Jets now?
I'm not. I have a
All
different
right,
team
fair
at
enough. I wasn't
10.
sure if we were that similar there.
I have a different team
Yeah.
at 10, who I hope you have a little bit higher than I do. But I have the Jets at 9, Eagles at 8.
Okay, fair enough. Who do you have at 10? Let's just get that out here real quick.
I have the Packers at 10.
Ooh, that's my 8 spot.
See, we're
So this
pretty
is
similar
again,
here. We're
like I
pretty
said,
similar.
this is a coaching thing. A lot of it. So I'll just hit the Chargers here real quick. Like you, I struggled with the 10, but then I looked at like it was that mix of the like with my honorable mentions, trying to like find that top like that 10 team. I did land on the Chargers because I do think if there's a coach out of those 4 teams that I trust, uh, okay, actually eliminate the Jets, but like Chargers, Eagles, Niners with the injuries. Let's say, yeah, that's the point I'm making here is like the injuries
I
is
gotcha.
that even with playing the Chiefs next week, Harbaugh, if he's got Joe Alt at 70% and Slater at 70%, I think he's still and has to play Easton Stick at quarterback. I think he's just going to run the ball the whole time. And the Chiefs
Yeah,
are not a good run defense. Even if
yeah.
they have to line up for it, I think if nothing else, he's just gonna buy into that and have Easton Stick make. He might throw 12 times, and it's gonna be he might go 9 for 12 just because it's of how it's kind of laid out for him. Like I could see that happening. Like I see a world where Harbaugh rushes 45 times and only uses Easton Stick in certain spots and is still wildly productive. Even if they lose, like I think regardless of everything, like they can still keep that game close. So that's just
Okay.
kind of where I landed on the Chargers. There's this a
I mean,
trust
they
in
are playing.
Harbaugh and
Yeah,
identity,
they are
and the
playing the
yeah
Chiefs, so I'm curious to see how that game goes
right.
because not only are they probably going to be down Herbert, Alt,
Well, they're already down Derwin
Slater,
James, really
Derwin
suspiciously,
James.
but I saw a
I
really
mean,
good tweet
it's
about that. It was like, yeah, he had no regard. He hit and run on all these players out on the field with no regard for checking in on how they're doing.
yeah, he
And
definitely didn't
yeah, the league just
beat.
doesn't tolerate that kind of behavior.
Yeah, he
Sound
really
familiar?
yeah he kicked some kids while they're down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Except that, okay, side note, just in terms of all of that, whoever it was for the Saints that dove on top of
Peyton Turner.
Devontae
It was
Smith,
Peyton Turner. It was Peyton
yeah,
Turner.
not only did he spit on him, I saw the initial video of him spitting on Devontae Smith when
He
he was
dove way late
out
into
cold.
that play.
He was already on the ground, his helmet's off, and he
Yeah,
speared him.
yeah, I know. I watched it. I was
Yeah,
pretty
that I
disgusted by
didn't see
that. I
that
don't know
clip
if they're
until
looking into
last
it. I
night. I
hope they
think
are.
they damn should be.
They
I don't give a
should.
shit who
Yeah,
that is or what team. Like again, I could care less about the Eagles. It's fun. I live in Philly. I like pushing people's buttons
yeah,
on
that's for
the
sure.
Eagles and talking a little shit
I
because it's
just want
fun.
like just respect at
That's
the end
not.
of the
I
day.
will.
Yeah,
I will go to bat for Devontae on that one. Yeah, that one
yeah.
was ugly.
I love Slimmy. You know that.
Oh yeah. Who'd you have at 10
Okay.
again?
I had the Packers. You had the
Oh,
Packers at
okay.
8.
I had the
So,
Packers at 8. Yeah.
I I I wanted to put the Packers higher. If I know for a fact Jordan Love is playing next week, the Packers would be up at 8, but I don't know that. And if you can guarantee me Malik Willis week 3 every single game, then hell yeah, dude, I'm all in. But I I take history with quarterbacks with a higher grain of salt than I do coaching
That's fair.
because it's easier for a quarterback to go backwards than it is for them to go forward. So, like with Malik, I can just see him reverting right back to how he was when you threw him in last week. Not last week, but like week 2, where he kind of looked a little bit lost, was really
Mm.
relying on his legs to make the big plays, XYZ. And even when he was in Tennessee, never it. So I would like to see either Malik Willis come out do it again or Jordan Love on that field before I push the Packers out. But regardless, they're awesome. They came out, they showed that it doesn't matter who's at quarterback, they're still a good team.
Yeah, I mean, I had them up at 8, more so as a nod to Matt LaFleur. I think
Oh
he's
yeah, for
established
sure.
himself as probably the most underrated coach in the league right now.
I
Uh,
agree. He definitely
going 2 and
he's
0
stamping it
with,
on there.
I mean, regardless of what was it, Colts Titans. I don't care about the matchups there. Like when you are inserting a backup quarterback, you want to like if you can go 500, you're happy. Uh,
Yeah.
but not only did they win both games, Malik Willis looked like everything that I thought he was going to be. Like we talked
Yeah,
about it, I
yeah.
liked him more than I liked Kenny Pickett. Um,
I didn't
but
like any quarterbacks, but
I mean, true, but I mean, like
yeah,
obviously we talk about quarterbacks more when it comes
yeah,
to the draft time there, and I really like Malik Willis, and I thought he would have done well in
yeah.
Pittsburgh, but that's a whole other thing. But like, I mean, he looked phenomenal against Tennessee, and that's
He
a
did.
legit
He looked
defense.
good. It was
That's a
shocking.
legit
It was
defense.
quite shocking how well he looked.
I mean, what was his final number? He ran for over 100 yards, I think, in that game. Hold on, I got to look at this
I thought
because,
it was
like,
74, but I could be wrong.
I think he finished. Oh no, 73. Yeah, you're right. You're right. My bad.
I
My
told you
bad.
I
But yeah,
remembered the
13 of
numbers.
19 for 202 yards, touchdown, no pick, 6 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown. Like he's doing a little bit of everything, and
Yeah,
it's fantastic to watch. Um, and so that's why I kind of give the Packers a little bit more of a nod because Chargers injuries worries me a little bit, even though I love Harbaugh. Ravens, I love everything that they're doing on offense. I need the defense to tighten up a little bit. I mean, Kyle Hamilton is still being Kyle Hamilton. He's looked good. Nate Wiggins looked phenomenal. He was the main guy on CD Lamb on Sunday and
Yeah.
was fantastic. He almost broke up a pass at the end of the first quarter there. Did a great job to recover on a little, hell, was it an out route or a late slant they threw to CD Lamb? He got his hand in there. CD Lamb made a great play on it to hold on to the ball. Very next play, starting the second quarter, gets beat, recovers, punches the ball out on CD Lamb. Fumble, Ravens get the
And
ball
and
back.
that's what you're looking for. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there's still playmakers there. So they got to figure out kind of the pass rush looked good. But I'm also not totally sold on that because I don't think I love the Cowboys O line right now. Um,
Yeah.
and then it's just hard. The other Harbaugh can't figure out how to close games out. Like I don't know what it is with him. Either he doesn't want to, like respectfully or whatever. He will not step on your throat.
It's just like one of those things, like old age coaching. You don't want to like push too hard.
Yeah,
Um,
and he needs to at some point.
yeah.
Like at some point in time, he needs to put into these guys'
Yeah.
heads like,
Yeah.
no, like this game is not over. It's 28-6. We're going to make it 50-6
Yeah. Not
quickly.
to get into college really, but on Saturday, Pitt they played YSU, Youngstown State. Smaller school for sure, but everybody gets the one.
One of the
And
weirdest like hate games that you guys have.
oh, it's so fun. They beat them 73 to 17. And Narduzzi after the game, he said that he told his guys to go up and just crush them, dominate them as much as they could, because YSU fired his dad as the head coach back in
Nice.
like the 70s.
Yeah.
So for him,
I
it
don't
was
know
all
what it
about
is
like
about
running it
John
up.
Harbaugh. He doesn't have that. Like
Yeah,
he doesn't quite have that like weird
drive that
fire. Like
mentality.
I mean,
Yeah,
back in, the 2013 run, you still had Ray Lewis and Ed Reed on that team. And those were old school dudes. Like they were crazy sons of
yeah,
bitches. There's not those guys right now. Like when Marlon Humphrey is locked in, like he does his other shit. He's funny on Twitter. Like I love Marlon
yeah,
Humphrey. But when he's locked in, like he's a legit dude. But then they take the foot off the gas and like he's one of those guys that will like just kind of be like, all right, yeah, we're just, don't let him score. Let's not let him back in here, whatever, blah, blah. And like you can see it on the field.
yeah,
They get a little bit
yeah.
softer. And like back to the Lamar thing too a little bit. Like I don't know if you saw a little clip after he got that first down to seal that win. Ronnie Stanley got real hype and like kind of like gave him a little like helmet bump,
Yeah.
and Lamar pushed him off of him
Oh,
and was
really?
kind of like it was very clear like, dude, there's no reason that we should be this excited right now. This shouldn't have been a game.
Yeah.
Like Lamar is going to drive this team at some point here, and
That's
the second
what he needs to
he's
do.
already doing it already, just kind of willing them, even with the talent, like he is kind of being that leader. If this continues, okay, so the next the next four they have? It's Bills next week. I think Commanders the week after, and then the Bengals. I want to say. I need to pull up the
I thought
schedule
they
here.
played Houston in there.
So no, it's Bills next week. Go to Cincy the following week. Commanders at home, and then the Bucks.
Oh, and
Who
then the
did you say
Bucks.
the Texans?
Okay.
Oh, they get the
I thought they
Texans
played.
late.
Oh, okay,
They
they
get them
do.
late. Week 17.
Okay.
Uh, this the next three. I really
Okay.
want to see what Lamar is like. I'm kind of on this thing where I'm like I'm less concerned about Harbaugh and what he's doing if Lamar is going to keep them in check, because I've already seen that Harbaugh is not. It's kind of like the Orioles right now. It's where the two Baltimore teams have coaches that have no pulse at this point. It's very frustrating. Two very talented teams, and we can't get our shit together
Yeah.
because somebody doesn't want to go to bat for their guys. It's whatever. Anyway,
All
I
right.
digress.
I'm gonna take the mic away from you for a
Yeah,
minute
please
after
do.
your
I'm sorry. I
heated.
kind of got a little heated on Baltimore for a second there.
All right. I'll talk about my 9-8. You talked about yours. Just real quick. So Jets at 9. I'm still not fully on board with the Jets, but I'm basing this off of what I've seen so far this season. Um, weeks 2 and 3, winning the games they need to win, and they're doing it pretty handedly.
Yeah.
So I can't complain about that. Aaron Rodgers is starting to progress in showing me that Achilles or no Achilles back there, he's still going to be a good quarterback, going to get the ball to where it needs to be, whether that's Garrett Wilson or the bigger, stronger, faster Garrett Wilson, aka Alan Lazard. Um,
The bigger,
it's
stronger, faster Garrett Wilson.
it doesn't matter. They're gonna be good, and regardless of that offense, the defense is phenomenal still. So that's what I trust. I don't love the head coach.
Hmm.
However, I don't think it matters that much.
That's fair. I just have my questions about Aaron Rodgers still consistently doing what he did on Thursday night.
Yeah, and
Because
we're gonna see
he's
it's gonna get
historically been a guy
tested.
that if they get down 10-0, he's not a guy that
Yeah,
he just doesn't take risks.
yeah,
Um,
that's
he's protecting that touchdown to interception ratio thing. Like he wants to hold his hat on that. I still have my concerns about Aaron Rodgers at his age. Like if
yeah,
that O line gets weird at any point in time, that's kind of where I fall on the Jets. Is like I'm not sold on it. I probably won't be sold on it until they make the playoffs potentially. I still don't think they
yeah,
will, but like if they win 10 games, then I'll be like, all right, fair enough.
yeah. I mean, him and Salah are gonna butt heads a little bit down the stretch here, so
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what's gonna happen. Like I said, I had the Eagles. Uh, it's gonna be interesting to see if Smith's able to play this week. If he is, I'd like them to continue to be good, continue to show what they have on offense. If not, Dallas got her to the moon, baby. That's all I got.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's all I got for you.
Yeah,
But
no, I like that. I like Goddard. Saquon looks fantastic
he looks
again.
amazing. Everything that they
They're gonna
needed him to
ride
be.
him, I think,
I
mostly.
think I think the offense looked better in that game than they had
Mm.
the previous week, and their defense played a little bit more cohesively, obviously. Um, so I'd like to see more of that as the season goes on. They held the juggernaut Saints to what was it, 13 points? So
12. 12.
12 points. Yeah, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
They didn't score up. They didn't score
Yeah, I
up
think they
points.
kind of exposed the Saints a little bit there. Kind of
A
what I
little
was
bit,
saying
yeah,
too. It
for
was like
sure.
even
Yeah, you
last week I
called
had
that.
the Saints at like 5 or 6, and I was like, I'm not buying it. I'm doing it here out of respect for putting up 40+ points back to
Yeah,
back weeks,
exactly.
but I'm
No,
not sold on that.
yeah. I mean,
I'm
as
not
you
buying
as you
it,
can
and
see, the Saints aren't going to be in either of our top tens this
yeah,
week. I
they
can
took
already
Kamara
predict
out of
that.
the game, and they had
Yeah,
no second punch. Um,
yeah. It's quite sad.
the only thing with the Eagles, and this is where I'm right outside of it, I want to see him another week, and I want to see Sirianni be involved less. I was talking to a
So,
buddy of mine. We were kind of watching the game at first there until I got because Red Zone was being an asshole for me. Couldn't get it on there. We were watching that, and he was like, "I can tell who's calling plays. I know when Kellen Moore is calling plays. I know when Nick Sirianni is calling plays. It's two different looks, and it's very obvious. Like when Nick
okay.
Sirianni gets his hands on the offense there because he wants to be a part of something, that's when it drives just stall out. The uh, the tush push variation, brotherly shove variation, whatever it was, like he even said, Nick Sirianni took ownership of that. He's like, I called that, Kellen Moore didn't. It's like, yeah, no shit, dude. Like we know when you're calling plays right now, and if he gets his hands off of everything, then I will like them more because Kellen Moore
Yeah,
calls a cohesive. Like he knows, like everything's kind of set up for that Kellen Moore offense. Um, but until
he
I see
just needs
that,
to take
like
a step back. I
they're
got you.
right there. It's very very close for me.
All right. Who do
Uh,
you have at 7? Because we've kind of talked
7,
about the Packers already.
they took a little bit of a drop for me, and I might have them a
Oh,
little low.
okay.
Um, but I also didn't quite feel comfortable putting them above the next couple teams. I have the Texans.
Okay. I thought you were gonna. I didn't drop the Texans that far, but
I wasn't going
I
to,
understand it.
but it's not that they lost; it's how they lost.
That's fair. Definitely fair.
They
They they got blood.
they had nothing. They
Yeah.
had no answers on defense. They looked lost on offense. Um, I would have faith in them to bounce back at this point,
I feel that.
but yeah, not a ton I have to say about them, just other than like it. They got bullied for 3 hours yesterday, or yesterday, 2 days ago, Sunday. What day is
Yeah.
it? Tuesday. Yeah,
I don't know anymore. Yeah, I don't hate that. I couldn't drop them that far because of it. You'll see how far I dropped them. It wasn't far at
yeah,
all.
yeah. Where'd you have them?
Just 'cause
Probably five.
I took a little less stock in their loss than you did. Just
Again,
because.
yeah. Like if they would have lost that game 31-24, I might move them back
Yeah,
if that. But like it's what was it,
I expect every
31-7? Was that
team.
the final of that?
Yeah, I expect every team every season to have a big time loss.
34-7.
Yeah, it's bound to happen. You're gonna have a bad loss, and this might not even be a bad loss as the season plays out. It
Yeah,
might be they were just outplayed, and especially since it's early in the season, I'm not putting too much stock into a loss like that, but
that's fair.
it does put me on watch a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah. That's kind of where I would did where I
Yeah,
went with that. Yeah.
yeah. At 7, I have the Seahawks finally
Hmm.
cracking my top 10 here.
Yeah, we had
3
them
and
at the same
0.
spot. I had them at 6.
Yeah, they continue to look good. Offense continues to do a little bit better than I expected them to do, and I don't think that they're gonna fall off. Fingers crossed for them and Seahawks
That's
fans.
fair.
I don't. They're just proving me wrong over and over again every single week, which is what I love. I love when that happens, and the defense just looks great. Like I
Yeah.
can't say enough good things about them.
This
So
might end up being my proudest kind of pick from the preseason stuff and like
yeah, yeah. I mean, you
playoff
called
pick.
it. Good for you.
I was very very happy with this. I don't want them to do too well because of the money I have tied up in the Rams and their futures. I would like the Rams to get back on track here. That would be nice. So if the Seahawks could cool off just a touch, that'd be nice for my DraftKings account. Shout out DraftKings. You guys watching? That'd be nice. But yeah, no, same kind of thing. It's like that defense is great. The only
Yeah,
reason I don't have them any higher, um, because at 5 I think I have like pretty much the same team, but a different version of the same team.
yeah,
Is the Steelers? The Steelers at 5. I have one spot ahead of the Seahawks. Um, the only difference there is that Justin Fields looked fantastic on Sunday, and everything's kind of like making a lot of sense with him. Gino's just throwing a couple extra picks there. I mean, I think he's thrown 4 on the year already. Um,
yeah,
if he tightens up, I think like they're a real problem. I mean, that's just kind of what got him in trouble in the first 2 weeks,
yeah.
where games got a little bit closer than they should have. I mean, they went to overtime with the Patriots. I mean, Patriots probably riding high on the Bengals win, whatever. But like, it's a good team. There's a lot of talent on that roster. Charbonnet has been very, very solid for them. And when Kenneth Walker comes back, that's a two-headed monster. It's
It is. It is.
like
I
your
mean,
number one back isn't in that upper echelon, but your second back is probably the best number 2 back in the league
yeah, yeah. I
until
mean
Keaton Mitchell
that.
comes back, and then the Ravens have Keaton Mitchell and Derrick Henry, and then I'm going to love my life. Um,
I think there's some other good tandems, but we're not talking about that right now. I definitely agree with you there. I mean that's why you draft running backs in the second round back to back seasons is to have an
yeah,
actual tandem. And they didn't really do it last year. They didn't show that they needed Charbonnet. I'm happy there. He's getting his opportunity right now.
yeah,
Sad it's at the expense of Kenneth Walker, but he's good. He's a good back. He's a big bruising guy. So and he can catch passes. I'm just saying.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you touched on your 5 was the Steelers. Steelers are my 6. I think we're gonna kind of have the same teams now down the line. Um,
Yeah. You said you had the Texans at 5.
I had the Texans at 4.
Oh, you had them at 4.
I only bumped them.
My 4
I only
teams
bumped
follow
them
your
one
5.
spot.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha. Yeah, I think I
I
had him at
bumped them one
3 last
spot
week, but
because
yeah.
yeah, that's
So I
where
dropped
we
him
had
down a little
yeah.
bit.
I didn't want to, like I said, I wasn't gonna weigh too heavy in the Texans. I'll get into the Texans real quick. I wasn't gonna weigh too heavy in them. Their offense still looks great. Yes, they did not look the same without Joe Mixon. They had no rushing attack at all that week, last
Mm-mm.
week. In fact, I mean, they couldn't really get anything going without it. They struggled in the passing game. In fact, their only touchdown pass was to Cam Akers. Good for
Yeah.
him. Way to go. You actually scored a touchdown against the team you tore your Achilles
Hey, you
with the
saved me
second
on
time,
daily fantasy with that touchdown. Actually, that's what put me in the money on the 1 o'clock games.
which is just
Yeah,
insane. Just
I had like 30 points at halftime in daily fantasy in the 1 o'clock games.
yeah,
I was nowhere near the money, and then I looked
yeah,
again, and I was like, "Yeah, we made it in the money in
yeah.
this."
I do want to talk fantasy when we're done real quick because Monday night saved me in 3 leagues and it was the happiest I've been in
Oh
fantasy all
yeah, you
year.
got fucking.
It wasn't even that. It wasn't even that league. It was another league. I scored 111 points last night. Just insanity.
Oh wow.
Yeah, truly insane. I wasn't supposed to win.
I had
Um,
chances to win a couple last night. I had you beat, and then Gasicki started getting the ball late.
caught one. He caught one touchdown, one pass late in the game.
Yeah,
That's all
you
I
got
needed.
me literally by
2 points. 2 points.
2.05 points.
2 points, baby. 2 points. But again, we're not talking
And
about that yet.
if I would have started Jalen Tolbert, I would have
You
won.
want to play that game? If I would have started Sam Darnold over A-Rich.
I rescind my
Yeah,
comment.
yeah. All right. So to get in the
I'll allow
six, the Steelers, yeah,
it.
uh, they have the best defense in the NFL, and yeah, it's really not that close right now. What they're doing is unbelievable. They stopped the highest running attack pretty quick. I
Yeah.
mentioned earlier they allowed -5 yards in the second half while putting up 211 yards against what was deemed as one of the best defenses.
Yeah.
They locked them down regardless of injuries or anything else. They controlled that game from the second half started, which is what I've been looking for through the first 2 games. That was all Mike Tomlin. That was all that coaching staff. So I want to give them their flowers because it is so well deserved. I say it every year. This might be Tomlin's best coaching year he's had, and he's had some amazing years of coaching.
Yeah.
And
I
this
mean,
man
this is really
somehow
impressive so far.
he's never ever won Coach of the Year somehow. I
That
just
really is impressive to
it
me
is
that
it
he's
is
never
the
gotten it once.
craziest thing. I, it's whatever. He's not going to win it this year either. If
No.
the Vikings keep doing what they're doing, it's going to be Kevin O'Connell. That's fine. I'm okay. I can live with that. I've accepted he's probably never going to win one because
At least not with the
like
Steelers.
like the Tomlinism is the standard.
Yeah.
But this team is just they're blowing me away. I didn't expect this. If you would have told me they would have been 1-2 to start the year, I would have been like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, but Justin Fields has been the surprise of a century.
Yeah.
As every series he's in, he looks more confident. He looks more poised and just ready to go. He didn't really run the ball at all in that game. He was very
That's
much
what
in the pocket, and
was
that
insanely impressive
impresses me
for
so
me.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, is he's
Was just
showing that he does not need to use his legs to win games. He can be a pocket passer if needed, and what more do you want as a quarterback that can do both? If he
yeah,
needs to be in the pocket throughout the game to win, great. If he needs to use his legs, even better.
we talked about it uh kind of leading up to that game, and we were like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be fun. Just run the ball down each other's
Yeah,
throats, kind of thing."
wasn't
He
that
threw
at
the ball
all.
32 times,
32. It was kind of crazy. What he was 20, 26 or 24,
25 of
32,
32,
25.
245 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
And the pick wasn't even his fault. It was just it was
It was
bobbled
just a
and
really
batted up
well
in the air.
played game. Like they
Yeah.
everything was kind of spelled out for him. He looked. It was a lot of run after catch stuff, like the Calvin Austin touchdown. What was it? Yeah, it was 55 yards. He caught that like 11 yards downfield, and then just took off.
It it was a little bit further down, but yeah,
It wasn't
it
much
was a
further down. It
good
wasn't like it was a
yeah.
25-yard bomb
No, no, no. It
or a
was a
25-yard
dart
pass.
across.
Like,
Yeah, it was a dart across the middle of the field. He took it and he
but
went.
again, he made the right read and he hit him in stride. Like, I mean, this is the
Yeah,
Justin Fields through 3 weeks this year has looked like, again, I liked him a lot out of college. We've talked about this a lot. Like, I really, really like
yeah,
him. He was Trevor Lawrence's class, right?
yeah. T-Law's class. He was
And he
the
was
fourth quarterback
the
taken.
fourth. Yeah, he was the fourth
Fourth.
one taken
He
because
was
it
the
was,
fourth.
yeah, Lawrence, Wilson, Field, or Lance,
Wilson.
and then Fields. Um, and then immediately, like I said, oh, Chicago's got him. Never mind. I'm out.
Yeah, yeah. The
But yeah,
unfortunate part.
what they're doing with him right now is really impressive. I just can't wait for the drama when Russell Wilson is healthy. Wilson inactive first 3 weeks, full pads.
He was the
I would like to
emergency
address that real
quarterback
quick because I
last
don't think
year.
we've done that
It's
yet.
so funny. He's in full pads. He was the
No,
emergency quarterback last week. It's rumored that he's still going to be inactive this week.
yeah.
So until he
We'll see him in
feels
full pads
fully,
again.
yeah, until he feels fully healthy, I think this is how it's going to go. And
Yeah.
then once he says he's healthy, I think at that point, depending on what Fields looks like, if Fields comes out and falls flat on his face against an Indianapolis team, and
Which I don't
Indy has a
see.
good defense. I don't
They
see it
don't.
either. Indy does have a
They
good
have a
defense.
horrible run defense, though.
Yeah,
Horrible run defense.
but
Well, actually, their defense just really isn't that good at all. Actually,
they played a good game on
Williams put up
Sunday.
350 yards on him, and he
That's fair.
looked
That's fair,
lost a lot of
actually.
times. Yeah, and
Okay,
had no
I guess
blocking.
they make yeah, Indy makes good plays, flashy plays.
That's fair. Yeah, the one pick
Yeah,
on Fields was, or on Fields on Caleb was pretty impressive.
yeah,
Whoever the hell it was, I don't remember.
yeah. So
Wears number
I'm
40. He's a cornerback that wears number 40, and he made.
Kenny Moore.
No, it wasn't Kenny Moore. It
Oh,
was.
okay. I know Kenny Moore is a weird number too.
Yeah, he's like 21 or something now. Like it's
Yeah,
at least like a little bit more
yeah,
functional. It was.
yeah.
Hold on, I gotta look at that now because it's gonna bother me. Because I remember somebody like kind of called him out on it. Was just like, how the hell is this dude making a play? Jalen Jones,
Jalen
number
Jones.
40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we got to speed this up just a bit
Oh, he
here.
had both of them. He actually picked them off both times.
He
Anyway,
picked them up both.
yeah. Wait, did we get to your number 4?
No. Oh, yeah. I talked about the Texans briefly.
Oh, that's right.
My
You have
number
them up 4.
five is the Vikings. I assume your number four is the Vikings.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, what else is there to say about them that we haven't already said? They've overperformed due to coaching and Sam Darnold looking like the part what we thought he was going to be in 2018 when the Jets took him. But we should
Yep.
have realized back then that the Jets were the Jets.
And I think I said that at that
And
point too. Was like,
yeah,
he's going to a
it's
dead
tough.
situation. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he looks phenomenal. The offense looks better than I anticipated. I thought it was going to be competent. I said draft your wide receivers there. They're still going to be fine. They are not quarterback dependent. They don't. That doesn't matter. But besides them, even Sam Darnold just looks amazing. The offense looks great, and even more so, that defense has been phenomenal.
Brian Flores is
I
getting
mean,
a head coaching job. Yeah. This is the coaching story of the year. I, 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 with what
I
he's
don't know if
doing,
I agree.
if he can hold this defense
I
up
think
for 17
I think
games,
Flores is the definition of a great coordinator, a bad NFL head coach.
oh, I agree with that statement. I agree with that statement.
That's just why
I'm
I'm
in
making
that camp.
face.
All I'm
Yeah,
saying is that he's gonna get another job if this defense holds up. Like
that's fair.
yes,
That's
I'm with you on that. Cliff Kingsbury is in that same bucket for me. Very good. Frank Reich is in that same bucket
Arthur
for me.
Smith.
Very good coordinator,
Yeah,
not a great head coach.
yeah.
However, just in terms of predicting what's going to happen in the real world, Brian Flores is going to get another job. If this defense
I
holds
yeah. I
and
think
they
he'll get
finish
interviews.
and they look good, like he's going to get another job, just
Okay.
flatly. Um, probably the fucking Bears' job, and they're just going to double down on a defensive coach because it's Chicago and they don't give a shit about quarterbacks. That's a whole
It's bad.
other thing.
That'd be
But yeah, now
bad.
my thing with the Vikings, I have them at 4 instead of 5. Is uh, it's not just that they're 3-0. It's not just that they're coaching well.
No,
They
they look good.
had no business beating the Niners, I thought, and
Mm-mm.
handled that game. And then on the flip side of the Texans part of this is like they didn't just beat the Texans. Like the Texans are, a lot of people's pick to make it to the Super Bowl, to rival the
Yeah,
Chiefs. Like, I mean, you go across all the national media, everybody's high on the Texans and the Packers. Like those are the trendy picks this year to be massive,
fun. Yeah,
taking that next huge step. Um,
yeah.
and the Vikings just put them to bed very, very quickly in that game. Like watching Red Zone, seeing that happen, like they kept cutting back because it just kept happening. Um, that game should have been even more out of hand early. There was a Dalton Schultz fumble that got called back. They said that he
Yeah,
didn't quite. Yeah, I don't know if you saw it. That
I
like he
saw
didn't
that. Yeah, I saw
quite
that.
make the football move, but it was pretty damn close.
It was close. One of
That
those
kind of like
like
stutter
bang
step
bang
that he had
plays.
there.
Yeah,
But yeah, that one got real weird real quick there, and I just wildly impressed by the Vikings. I feel like our top 3 are going to be the same, exactly the
they
same.
are. I mean, it's
It has to be.
are you on board? You're on board? Hell yeah, brother. So it's Lions, Chiefs,
I might
Bills.
regret it. I will say I might regret it, and I will be honest about it. But I will say this is more so based on this year and what I'm seeing. So let's
It's
just go
what
through
I'm
it.
seeing. I'm not
3.
predicting. It is not my job to predict.
That's fair. Yeah. So do you want to say it or do you want me to say it? Do you want to get very
I
hyped
just
when I
said
say
it.
my
I
number
just
one
said
team?
it.
Do you want
It's
to get
it's
very
it's
excited?
Lions. It's Lions, Chiefs, Bills, baby. Go for it.
Yep. Yeah. Lions at 3, Chiefs at 2, and I got the Bills at 1 as well.
I mean, yeah, I don't think you can put any team above the Bills at this point. I,
And
I'm
that's kind of
I'm
where I'm at. I
considering
mean,
I'm considering putting a gap between the Bills and the Chiefs. Like there is
I'm
a
not going to go
gap.
that far. And here's where I'll go with that. I think history tells you the Chiefs are still the best team. Just when you look at them historically,
History,
like
referees.
situationally, like
What do you?
there's nothing that you can throw at the Chiefs in terms of like situational football with Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Like these dudes do not care. Like they just win games, and like that's what they've done the first 3 weeks here is just
I mean,
win
it
games.
helps. It
They
does
have
help
they
when you get every call go your way. It does
I
help.
mean,
I'm
that
just
does
saying.
help a little bit.
Or every
I'm not gonna
non-call.
dispute that either. I just go
Just
like
I'm just saying. And
it's tough for me. I think the Bills are the better team at this moment.
oh,
I do.
100%.
It's not that they're 3-0 because they're both 3-0. It's that the Bills are just destroying teams. Like the game last
Absolutely
night
dominating.
was 5 minutes in was not a game anymore.
It
That
was
ended
over.
quickly.
The Bills could
The
have sat on the
Dolphins
bench for
game
40
got
minutes.
out of hand immediately. We were talking in
Yeah.
the first quarter of that, or the beginning of the second quarter of that game, and we went, "This is over." Um, week 1, who's they play? Oh, the Cardinals. I mean, that's just like a lot of new faces, and they still kind of had that game under wraps. Like had control of that game, I should say, even
Yeah.
with
It
Arizona
was a
moving the
fun
ball.
game, but yeah.
It was a fun game, yeah, and that was just like a lot of new faces on defense. But after that first week, like McDermott has the like we talked about, McDermott is going to have that defense playing well, regardless of personnel,
Mhm.
regardless of new faces. I just go with the Chiefs. Like even at this point, I mean, they're playing divisional round. If you ask me
Yeah.
now, even based on what I'm seeing, probably still going to take the Chiefs. Like that's just the reality of it, and like I'm giving the Bills their flowers on this
I'm
because of how they've played over the course of the first 3 weeks. Uh, but if I had to pick them tomorrow, who's winning the game between the two of them, I'm probably still going to take the Chiefs. My money, like that's just a safe bet because of just history.
yeah.
They're not concerned. That's just who
I
they are.
keep I know we're running short here. I do just want to talk about the fact that Mahomes is just he's not playing as well as he usually is. I do just
Mm-hmm.
want to say that. He's averaging 220 yards a game, just under that. He has 5 touchdowns and 4 interceptions.
Yep.
And he hasn't looked like himself this season.
Right.
He's not the world beater that he is known to be. He has not gone out there and had the Patrick Mahomes game. And the team as a whole is not as cohesive as it has been in the past. So I don't think that's anyone's fault. They're still 3-0, regardless of anything else.
Yeah.
So still a good team. Obviously, you like what they put on paper. Having Pacheco out clearly hurts them
Yeah,
in their
that
running
did
game.
did a little bit more to them than I thought it would. I mean,
Yeah.
they still covered, but still covered, but
Okay.
it didn't get
I
out of
mean,
hand
if
like I
you
thought it really could have.
it was not no, it was a close game. It was a
Yeah.
very close game.
Yeah.
And it should have been closer,
Right. Yeah, no,
but
Falcons definitely could have won that game. Bengals could have definitely beat them in week 2. Ravens by an inch lost that
so
game.
they are 3 plays or 3 referee calls away from being 0-3.
That's fair. Yeah, I
But
agree with
but
all
we
of
can't
that.
play the
Like they
game of
could
what
be
if.
like they're 3-0 right now, but they could very easily be 0-3. And we're having a very different conversation about the Chiefs.
Yeah.
My only thing with that is, and this is, we're talking about this year, but like historically, it's like if they wouldn't have won the Super Bowl last year, I think all of these concerns are much more real. You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
they
and
did.
I
They're the
just think
back-to-back
yeah.
champs right now, and that's kind of like where you're sitting on with them. Is like
I just hate
it's
that
just the
we are
reality of who they are. Is
yeah,
like they just win games when they shouldn't,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
like the Ravens continually try to give games away. The Bills find ways to lose games. The Chargers are hurt. The Lions get too cute at times. Like I think the Lions are still the best NFC team, but like I
Yeah.
mean, you can go down through literally 31 other teams and find a reason. Even like if you talk to fan bases, regardless, is there's something there. The Vikings historically find ways to lose games. The Steelers get into the playoffs and then just aren't either talent deficient or just aren't quite buttoned up, and that's a Tomlin thing. I love Mike Tomlin, but that's just one of
Yeah.
his flaws is that they're not always buttoned up. I you just but the Chiefs, that's the only fan base that can say like they've won completely different ways. They were a
Mm-hmm.
high-powered offense with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey. Um, and the past 2 years, they've been, I mean, even, well, more so last year, like defense forward, and Mahomes is doing enough. And Kelsey shows up when he needs to. And that's kind of where
Yeah.
they're at. And next year, I think if Travis Kelsey retires, which I think is on the table at this point, because you're kind of seeing it now, like he's only showing up in spots. You're going to get
Yeah.
4 big games out of him in the regular season. And then come playoffs, I mean, he's going to be 13 catches for 140 yards. It's just, I think we've
Yeah.
talked about that before too. It's just like, that's the reality of it.
I'm curious to see how they look like going forward.
Yeah.
They do have a more defensive matchup this week in the Chargers. So obviously, though, they're going to probably be without their 2 best defensive players, in Joey Bosa and Derwin James. So that'll be a thing. And then they have the Saints Monday night. We'll see what Saints team shows up there. The bye,
Yeah,
and then
again,
they
I'm
get
not
the
buying the
Niners
Saints
after
there. I think they got a nice little stretch coming up here that, again, like, we're just going to be looking at 4-1, 5-0 Chiefs. It's just,
that. I mean, yeah, I actually like. I'm looking at the Chiefs' schedule here, and like their hardest, like they go to the Niners and to the Bills in Week 11. That's going to be exciting. But then after that, their hardest game is uh,
the
Texans
Bills.
Steelers
Bills
back to
late.
back. Well, I
Bill,
said Bills. I
yeah.
said Bills Week
Oh,
11.
yeah.
And then after that, it's Texans
Oh, shit.
on a Saturday, 12/21, and then they play the Steelers in Pittsburgh on Christmas Day.
Yeah, they really got, like, this first month of the year.
they have
has been their toughest
chalk.
stretch. Outside of that, they get a lot of
Yeah,
breaks. They
it's
do have an
it's
early bye
chalk.
though.
I'm just gonna be
The only thing,
honest. They
the
do.
one thing that does I think kind of throw a little wrench into it is that they have a week 5. So they
We'll
go
see.
to the Chargers next week, then they get the Saints at home, and then they have a bye, but then they get the Niners out of the bye, which is kind of a gift a little bit there. But then, I mean, early buys are always weird for teams, just
Yeah.
attrition. Yeah. So we went a little bit
All
longer
right.
than we normally do here. Hold on, I got to do this real quick here because you won't
Oh
listen to
boy.
me. Pops, you listening? Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph.
What's is this a question?
If you had one word to describe those two,
Backup.
I'll take that. I mean, you were nicer about it than I was, but
Awful. I mean, well,
I said
overperformed.
trash. That's my. I mean, let's just be real.
I mean, he's on the same boat as we are. He wasn't on the Kenny board.
What's that? Oh no no no
He
no
was
no
ne
no no! This dude
no.
loves
Okay.
Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. That's why I had to do
Oh,
this. Is that
oh.
again? I told
I
you he
thought you.
tried to talk
Who
me
did
into
you?
Kenny Pickett.
What name did you say?
Oh, my dad.
Oh, your dad. Your
Yeah,
dad.
I'm giving him a little shout out here because he won't listen to me. He said, "You asked Dom; he's a Steelers fan," and I was like, "He's going to tell you the
No,
same exact
dude.
thing I just told you."
All right, all right.
So
I was the
here's 2 minutes.
first.
Here's 2 minutes for pops here.
All right. What's your dad's name?
Jim.
Jim. All right, Jim. I was out on Kenny Pickett the second they drafted him. I was not. I'm a Pitt fan. I'm a
I
Pitt
said
fan.
that. I said that too.
I did not want the Steelers to draft Kenny Pickett. I didn't think he was true NFL talent. He's a preseason guy. He shows it there. But when it comes to actual NFL games, he doesn't produce.
Mhm.
Oh, what else? I was officially out on him week 2 of last year. I wanted the Steelers to tank so bad to actually get a quarterback that meant something to this organization that wasn't named Kenny Pickett because I didn't think he was good at all. Uh,
Mhm.
in fact, if he was on this team right now, I think we'd be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
We would be 0-3, not 3-0. Fact.
Yep.
So
Now, can you
thank you
hit
for your
Mason
time,
Rudolph
Jim.
too here real quick? Can we? I mean, he
Ma-
doesn't
Ma- Mason
deserve. He
Mason
doesn't even
is
deserve to be talked about. But like, I will.
Mason is a good backup quarterback. He's not a starter. He gets the job done on a week to week basis when the main guy's hurt.
Yeah.
He might get
He
you
gives you a
500.
different look. He's Jake Browning
Yes.
can throw for 330 yards when he has to come in randomly.
Yeah, it's not what you want. Um, but yeah, Jim, those are my honest opinions. You don't want to root for Kenny Pickett to be the starter anywhere. That team will not do it. That is my time for the night.
There we go. All right, that's all I had to get in there. I just had to get that last little nugget in there because I spent way too long listening to him try to sell me on Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph.
Yes, I'm
Because
so sorry.
again, hey, I'll take one last little shot at my dad here. He loves an undersized white boy at quarterback because it reminds him of himself.
Fair
That will
enough.
get me in trouble. I will get a phone call on Sunday, and that's all we got for now. We will be back
All
on
right,
Thursday, going over the gambling, fantasy, look ahead to week
and
4, touch on a few things that we're looking at, and that's all we
yeah,
got.
all right. I'll see you guys then. Enjoy your next few days of not peace or quiet.
Yeah. All right, let's get out of here.
All right.